Iran's Araghchi appears to be taunting Trump after a congressional report allegedly exposed heavy U.S. losses. Mojtaba Aide is now warning of more surprises, as Washington stares at what could be a $2.6 billion war hit. As many as 42 U.S. military aircraft are said to have been lost, damaged, or destroyed. But Trump still wants more confrontation? Is Mojtaba already preparing for round two with stronger defenses, and what some claim could be more direct help from Putin? Iran's foreign minister reacted on May 19 to a U.S. congressional assessment tied to the recent war. Araghchi warned that more surprises could be coming after the U.S. acknowledged the loss of dozens of aircraft. Abbas Araghchi said, and I quote, "Months after initiation of war on Iran, U.S. Congress acknowledges loss of dozens of aircraft worth billions. Our powerful armed forces are confirmed as first to strike down a touted F-35. With lessons learned and knowledge we gained, return to war will feature many more surprises." Unquote. The newly released congressional report said the U.S. military had lost at least 42 aircraft. The assessment was reportedly prepared for Congress using information from the Pentagon, CENTCOM, and media reporting. The U.S. was said to have lost fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, refueling planes, combat rescue helicopters, and UAVs. The report estimated the total cost of those aircraft losses at roughly $2.6 billion. However, lawmakers were also said to have warned that the real damage figure could be significantly higher, according to Press TV. Press TV on U.S. congressional assessment said, and I quote, "Among the aircraft destroyed or damaged were 4 F-15E Strike Eagle fighter jets, 1 F-35A Lightning II, 1 A-10 Thunderbolt II, 7 KC-135 Stratotanker refueling planes, and 1 E-3 Sentry airborne warning and control aircraft." The report also listed the loss of 2 MC-130J Commando II aircraft, 1 HH-60W Jolly Green II, 24 MQ-9 Reaper drones, and 1 MQ-4C Triton. Unquote. War tensions rose again despite Trump pausing fresh strikes amid what were described as signs of progress in negotiations. Trump has reportedly given Iran just 2 to 3 days to strike a deal and bring the war to an end.
Well, I don't know about changing the regime. I can do that, whether you change the regime or not. You know, it's been a rough regime. They've killed a lot of people, but it's a country that really needs help. It has nothing. They can't turn on the lights. They can't eat. We don't want to see that. They called me over the last 2 days to say they made a lot of progress, because we have them negotiating with us, and primarily Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, a little bit, and Bahrain, and some of the others. And we have them negotiating with them. We're all working together. It's like a team. And Israel, of course, and Israel's been a great partner. And so we are negotiating together. I got a call from numerous of these people. They know the people in Iran. Don't forget, when you talk about regime change, I think it's the ultimate regime change, because the first level and the second level are no longer with us. They're someplace, but they're no longer with us. So we have real regime change. But I got a call yesterday, sir, could you wait? We think we're close to a deal. And that's okay. Now, I've heard it before with these people, and they change their mind. I made deals with them, no nuclear. We immediately get the nuclear dust. And they said, you're the only one can get it, because the bombers did such an unbelievable job that the mountain literally collapsed on top of it. They said us, and they thought China would be the only 2 countries that could even get it. But I think it's important to get it, maybe psychologically more than anything else.
How long did they know that you were planning negotiations?
They knew I was getting ready to attack. I didn't tell them. I never tell anybody when.
You're in constant contact?
I never tell anybody when, but they knew that we were very close. I would say I was an hour away from making the decision to go today. And we would probably not be talking about a beautiful ballroom today. We'd be talking about that. And no, I had made the decision. So they called up. They had heard I made the decision. They said, sir, could you give us a couple of more days? Because we think they're being reasonable.
How long does it take for Iran to come?
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time. because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would start with Israel. They would blow it up, and they would blow it up fast, but they'd blow it up. And I'll tell you what, they go after Saudi Arabia, they go after Kuwait, they go after UAE, they go after Qatar, I think they go after the entire Middle East, and it would be a whole different negotiation. It would be nuclear holocaust. And there's no question in my mind that they'd use it. There's no question. And I deal with these people. They're extremely radicalized. These are not people like what I deal with you. You're a very nice guy. These are people that are seriously radicalized. They would use it. The only question, would it be the first minute, the first hour, or the first day?
I'm trying to pause at some times. Does there come a point soon where you're no longer...
I'm not doing this politically. I'm just, look, everyone tells me it's unpopular, but I think it's very popular. When they hear that it's having to do with nuclear weapons, weapons that could take out Los Angeles, could take out major cities very quick. When they hear that, when they're explaining, I'll tell you what, when we explain it to people, I don't really have enough time to explain to people. I'm too busy getting it done. When they understand, I think it's frankly very popular, but whether it's popular or not popular, I have to do it. Because I'm not going to let the world be blown up on my watch. It's not going to happen.
Meanwhile, details have also emerged about how Iran could respond if the United States launches new strikes. Donald Trump has stepped back from launching new strikes on Iran, but Tehran is preparing for the possibility that the war could resume. Iranian planners now anticipate a short but brutal conflict if the United States and Israel attack again, rather than a drawn-out war of attrition. Experts say Tehran expects any fresh round of fighting to open with massive US-Israeli strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure. In response, reports indicate Iran plans to fire hundreds of missiles per day to try to overwhelm US and Israeli air and missile defenses. Iran is also expected to target oil fields, ports and refineries across the Gulf in an effort to jolt global energy markets. Analysts warn that energy hubs in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia could face direct Iranian retaliation if hostilities resume. This posture comes as figures linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps threaten to drag Gulf Arab states deeper into any renewed conflict. Iranian hardliners have accused the UAE of enabling US-Israeli operations against Tehran, further raising the risk of it being targeted. Tehran increasingly views global economic shockwaves as one of its most effective tools against the United States. Iran could intensify pressure in the Strait of Hormuz to further disrupt global trade and energy flows if fighting restarts. It is also looking at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait as a second choke point where it can threaten international shipping. Sea lanes in the Red Sea controlled by Houthi forces could be used by Iran to widen the maritime dimension of any conflict. The Houthi militia has publicly vowed to support Iran if a regional war breaks out again. This escalatory rhetoric comes as Trump announced on May 18 that he is postponing a previously scheduled attack on Iran. Trump said he had decided to delay fresh attacks after requests from regional leaders across the Middle East. The revelation came amid reports suggesting that a new phase of Iran war action could begin within the next 24 to 48 hours. The US president first made the announcement on Truth Social and later repeated it during a media interaction. Reports say Trump postponed new attacks after receiving urgent warnings from Pentagon officials. According to Tasnim, US defense officials warned that Iran had significantly strengthened its air defense systems. Senior American officials reportedly told Trump that Tehran had sharply improved its ability to detect fighter jets. Officials also warned Iran upgraded its missile interception systems and reinforced key air defense networks. The warnings reportedly raised serious concerns over risks facing American fighter jets and bombers during future operations. A US military official told the New York Times that Iran closely studied American aircraft flight patterns during the war. US intelligence assessments reportedly pointed to possible Russian assistance in Iran's military planning and coordination. Officials warned that American aerial operations had become increasingly predictable during the conflict with Iran. Concerns deepened after an F-15E was reportedly downed and an F-35 came under Iranian ground fire. Pentagon officials warned that Iran had emerged as a far more resilient and hardened adversary despite weeks of bombing. Meanwhile, Press TV released footage on May 18 claiming to showcase Iran's air defense systems in action. US officials said many of Iran's ballistic missile systems remain hidden inside deep underground mountain facilities. American strikes reportedly collapsed entrances to several missile sites, but failed to destroy the launch systems themselves. Officials believe Iran has already reopened and restored several missile facilities previously targeted during the conflict. Iran also reportedly repositioned mobile missile launchers and adjusted military tactics during the temporary ceasefire period. US officials warned Tehran still retained the ability to threaten regional energy infrastructure and American military assets. Washington also feared Iran could once again disrupt global shipping through the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump said he paused planned strikes after Gulf leaders requested more time for diplomacy with Tehran. Trump said Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates urged Washington to avoid immediate military escalation. He nevertheless warned that US forces remain prepared for a large-scale attack if negotiations with Iran collapse.